Hello everyone, welcome back to our AWS for Beginner playlist. In previous video, we learned about the different types of cloud computing, public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, and multi-cloud. Today we will learn another important cloud concept, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. We'll understand what each model means, who manages what, and look at the simple real-world example. What are the cloud services models? Cloud services model describes how much responsibility belongs to the cloud provider and how much responsibility remains with the customer. The three commonly discussed models are infrastructure as a service, a platform as a service, and a software as a service. Here is the simple way to remember these models. Think about renting the house. With the IaaS, you get the basic infrastructure and manage much of the environment to yourself. With PaaS, more of the environment is already managed for you, and so you can focus on your application. With the SaaS, you simply use the finished software. Now let us IaaS stands for infrastructure as a service. The cloud provides product gives the fundamental infrastructure such as virtual machines, storage, and networking. You are responsible for managing the operating system, applications, and your data. A good AWS example is Amazon EC2, where you can launch and manage virtual server. Let us see the IaaS example. Let's take an EC2 as an example. AWS manages the physical hardware and underlying infrastructure. You manage the EC2 instance, operating system, application, and data. This gives developer a high level of control, but also means more responsibility. Now, coming to the PaaS, PaaS stands for Platform as a Service. Here, the cloud provider manages much more of the underlying infrastructure. As a developer, you can focus primarily on your application and data instead of worrying about the servers and operating systems. AWS Elastic Beanstalk is example of a PaaS style service. You upload your application, AWS handles so much of the infrastructure management. This makes application deployment easier, especially when you don't want to manage individual server yourself. Now coming to the SaaS, SaaS stands for Software as a Service. This is the simplest model from the customer perspective. You don't manage servers, operating system, or application infrastructure. You simply access and use the software through the internet. For example, when you use Gmail, Google manages the underlying infrastructure in the application. This is one of the most important slides. As we move from IaaS to PaaS to SaaS, the cloud provider takes over more responsibilities. With IaaS, you have more control and more responsibility. With the SaaS, the provider manager almost manage everything and you simply use the software. Now coming to the control versus responsibility, there's an important relationship between the control and responsibility. IaaS gives you more control, but you also have more things to manage. PaaS provides a balance. SaaS gives you the least infrastructure responsibility because most things are managed by the provider. Let's imagine you are a developer building a web application. With IaaS, you might launch an EC2 instance, configure the operating system, install Java, and deploy your application. With the PaaS, much of this infrastructure setup is handled for you. With the SaaS, you don't build the application at all. You simply use an existing application. The choice depends on the your requirement, like when to use which one. Choose IaaS when you need more control over infrastructure. Choose PaaS when you want to concentrate on application development. Choose SaaS when you simply need ready to use software. Here's a very simple way to remember these three models. IaaS gives you infrastructure, PaaS gives you platform for developing and running applications, SaaS gives you ready to use software. As we move from IaaS to SaaS, the provider takes over more management responsibilities. These are the common cloud computing and AWS interview question. Make sure you understand the difference between the control and responsibility because this is often more important than the simply memorizing the definitions. Let's quickly recap. IaaS provides infrastructure and gives you greater control. PaaS provides a platform where you can focus on application development. SaaS provides ready-to-use software. Understanding these three models is essential before moving deeper into AWS. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel. In next video, we'll learn about the next topic. Thank you for watching.